Today I'm back with another workout. Today's workout is a squat workout, and in the beginning I'll be taking you through a small mobility routine that I usually do before I squat. Mobility is something I used to really neglect, but once I started incorporating mobility into my workout routine, especially on squat days, I've noticed big improvements in the depth of my squat and also the strength of my squat, especially the strength coming out of the hole. So with that in mind, I'll take you through the squats afterward and then some accessory work that should strengthen your squat, hopefully, because that's one thing I'm really trying to work on, because I feel like that's one of my lifts that's kind of falling behind a little bit and I don't want that to happen. So without further ado, let's get into the video. This is a move from part of my banded warm-up that I like to do before I squat. This particular movement really opens up the hips because you really need to have mobile hips to complete good, clean squats. I like to start with one leg and stretch it both ways with the band on that leg. Then after that, I switch legs. I'll leave a link for a video down below by Omar Esoff that goes more in depth into this stretch. The next stretch I like to do is almost like a version of a banded good morning. This really activates your glutes. Also, don't forget to squeeze your glutes with each rep because that's essential for activating your glute muscles so that they will be used effectively during the squat. This last part of the banded warm-up is just a squat with the band wrapped around the lower part of my glutes and the top of my hamstrings. Make sure you push your knees out with each squat. Again, if you are interested in a more in-depth explanation of these banded warm-ups, definitely check out the links in the description box. I hardly ever do a squat day without first going through this mobility routine. I've found it's helped tremendously. The last thing I wanted to touch on before getting into my working sets was my warm-up sets. I always do a warm-up set first with the bar, and then from there I usually increment depending on what I'm working up to. For example, today I'm working up to a set at 205 pounds, so I do a warm-up with the bar, then with 95 pounds, 135, and then 185, and then I jump to 205. When you're warming up, you want to make sure you get enough reps so that you feel warmed up and ready to take on that extra weight, but you don't want to tire yourself out. For this squat workout, I worked up to a top set of 5. For me, this was 205 pounds. For you, this might be 95 pounds or 315 pounds. Just work up to whatever weight you can barely do 5 reps for. For example, for me on the 4th and 5th rep, I really had to reach within myself and find that extra little push to get out those reps. One thing I've found essential in my training lately is incorporating a back offset after working up to a heavy set. So for this, I'm just doing 135 pounds for several reps before I move on to my next exercise. I also find that this helps really make sure the muscles fatigue. Next, we will be moving into front squats. I did 95 pounds for 4 sets of 6 reps. I find front squats to be a very important accessory movement as they really work the quad muscles as well as the upper back, and just a regular low bar squat places more emphasis on the hips and the glutes and the lower back. Next, I'll be doing the leg press. This also zones in on the quad muscles. Leg press is pretty self-explanatory. Just make sure you don't fully lock out at the end. That is an easy way to injure yourself. Here I'm doing 3 plates on each side for 6 reps. For the 4th set, I decided to add on an extra plate on each side. Never be afraid to push yourself. here I'm moving into stiff leg deadlifts with dumbbells. One thing I want to note is that my form actually does not look so good now that I'm watching the footage. You really want to make sure you keep your back flat and that it doesn't round out at all. Make sure you're leading back with your hips. And go as far down as you need to feel a good stretch in your hamstrings before contracting your glutes to get back up. Another hamstring movement, these are lying hamstring curls. If you've made it to this point in the workout, you're doing great. These are cable pull-throughs. You want to grab the rope attachment and pull it in between your legs, break at the hips, and contract your glutes to complete each rep. You want to make sure you feel a good stretch in your hamstrings as well. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you completed the workout, let me know. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to my channel. Thank you for lifting with Vic, and until next time.